Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and welcome back to our final episode on the Vanilla Swirl series. Today, we're going to be taking a look at easily the hardest one of this entire mod pack, Discharge Maze. This is a combination of the needy capacitor Discharge and a combination of Maze from the base game. This module is easily the trickiest one because of the fact that there is this whole speed element about this that is very important to note down. So, I would like to preface this tutorial by saying I will strike. There is no way in hell that I will not strike on this. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be very difficult to actually teach, so please bear with me. And yeah, let's get right into this thing. So on this module here, what we have here is a little maze. In this case, the maze is going to be represented by these circular markings, represented by these circles, obviously. What's going to happen here is we're going to be navigating through a 7x7 region of this big maze right here, based off of the markings that we're going to be able to define. Flipping the switch will activate the module, which in this case will be up in the top left here. And the thing about this mod that makes it so difficult is, number one, you don't know where you are in the maze until you flip the switch. So you have to kind of improvise here. And second, the capacitor part of the spawn. Flipping the switch will activate the module, turning on one of the lights in the maze, and charging the capacitor by 10% each second. Holding down a lever discharges the capacitor by 10 per second, and releasing it moves the light in its direction. So in this case, it'll be the little bits that you'll see in just a moment. With each move, the charge is measured. Each pair of consecutive measurements must meet the condition according to the color of the fluid in the gauge. The diffuser must navigate the light out of the region, crossing the edge in the direction matching its color. So I'm using the interactive manual, which gives me the ability to rotate this maze freely. And this is what's going to make this mod very tricky, because as you can see, it's 10% per second, and it only goes up to 100%. You have to be very, very careful. But each of these buttons can be held, and they can actually decrease the power of the charging of the capacitor, because you need to actually have a series of release conditions that must be mentioned here. So, this is what makes this mod a bit tricky to understand and actually do. It's more of the doing part. We need to figure out a series of measurements for each pattern, essentially. And the way that I've actually kind of set this up is I've actually kind of thought out of a couple of patterns and release times that you can actually do this consistently. And I would advise this probably is only going to be an EFM only thing, so just keep that in mind. So for the release conditions, what it's going to ask you is it's going to be asking you for different types of previous measurements. More than 10% less, or 80% more than the previous measurement. Yellow is more than 60% less, or 30% more than the previous measurement. Green differs by more than 45% from the previous measurement. And blue differs between the range of 20 and 40 from the previous measurement. So the way that I like to set this up is I like to actually think of a couple of different patterns of where I can actually release these numbers at, because of the fact that it's not too bad once you understand how it works. So for red, for example, what we can essentially do here is we're looking for more than 10% less, or 80% more. An idea that I've had is we can do, for example, we can start at 90, for example, and then what we can do is we can continuously go down by 20, by increments of 20. So we can go, for example, 70, 50, 30, and 10, and then back up to 90, because we can then increase by 80% more. It's just an idea. You can obviously mess around with these times as much as you can, but as you can see, what we're doing here is we're starting off with 90. And then we're increasing by, we're decreasing by, it's more than 10% less. So in this case, we're decreasing by 20 here. We're decreasing by 20, decreasing by 20, decreasing by 20. And we need to have it 80% or more. So in this case, we want to kind of go a little bit below 10 and a little bit above 90 just to make sure. But that's kind of the way that I like to think about this, just to make sure that you do it in a correct manner. Now, of course, all of this is subject to change. You can obviously mess around with these times, but these are kind of just a baseline that I like to give myself just to think about. For yellow is a bit of an interest color. More than 60% less, or 30% more than the previous measurement. And this one, what I like to do is I'd like to start off with 90 again, because the idea is you need to figure out, first off, when you activate the maze, you need to figure out which rule you're looking at here, because the color of the gauge, the fluid, will be increasing pretty damn fast. So you want to have high times, or rather, you want to have low times to begin with, because you can simply release at 10, and then go back up to 90, for example. So probably what I would do is actually just reverse this order. So do 10, 90. so on and so forth, then back to 10. So with this, what I would advise doing is definitely doing maybe like a 30-70 case. It's a bit risky, but like we can do maybe like 30, 80, then back to 20, and so on and so forth. Just going to give you an idea of what I'm looking at here, because in this case we start with 30, 30 being the previous release. We go up by 50, in this case at more than 30%. And then we go down to 60, which in this case we probably should note this down as a 10, because if we're doing 80, we want it to be 60%, more than 60% less. So in this case, there would be 70% less. Then 30% more would be like 40, for example, 40 or 50. Then we do a 90, then go back down to 20, and so on and so forth. And just is going to give you an idea here. Now we have green. Green is differs by more than 45% from the previous measurement. And this can be in either direction. I like green and blue especially because of the fact that it gives you a little bit more freedom for a specific direction. So differs by 45. So I generally like to start with this one, like a 20, for example. Then we go up to like 70, and actually you can just be a back and forth with 20, 70. But now the blue is where it differs between 20 and 40. This is a very tight range that you have to keep in mind. And what I like to do with this one is I like to go for, honestly, a 60-30 case. Probably a 60-30 would be best for me, 60-30. Because the reason why is because of the fact that it gives you the ability to do this. There is one final condition that I have not mentioned, because there is an exit condition once you reach the edge of a maze and you're trying to get out of it. The last move must be done when the capacitor is over 90% charged, in addition to meeting the release condition. So this is what makes this module so tricky, because of the fact that there is this additional condition on top of this that you have to consider. And what makes it so difficult is it doesn't give you any time to really think about it. You just have to start navigating through the maze and making sure that you do things correctly. So that's what makes this module so tricky. So now let's get into the whole finding the maze part of this. We have to find the maze based off of these markings here, and we need to figure out where exactly we are. So that's going to be a good starting point, I think. So let's take a look around. Let's see if we can find these markings. These markings are really not that hard, really not that easy to find, I'll be honest with you. But they're not impossible, that's for sure. So just bear with me on this. It might take me a bit to find these. I feel like I've had this one before. I just can't remember where it was. Shoot. Here we go. Yes. So right here. So this is going to be representing the bottom left corner. We're going to go up to 7, which should be right here. Yep. Right 7, right here. So this is going to be our little border of the maze here. So what we're going to try and do is we are going to try and escape the maze based off of the direction, that we get. Now, the way that we do this is not based off of the color of the fluid. The fluid is essentially the release condition. We're gonna light up somewhere in this maze here, and we're gonna be one of the colored dots that represent either red, blue, yellow, or green. Whatever color our dot is our exit. That's gonna be the way that we're gonna look at this. So now I think that we're ready. I think that we can do this. Just bear with me, please. This is going to be a very rough experience to have to deal with. And you're going to have to do a lot of following along with the manual. I'm not going to be able to highlight much of this. And I'm not going to be able to highlight this like interactively, like, for example, I'll move right, for example. I'm not going to be able to do that. You need to follow along with me. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. This is going to be a very tricky experience for me. I will probably strike at least once, maybe if not twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. I don't really know. But let's get right into this. So let's hit the switch. Okay, we're green, we're in left, and we have green. So let's go, we're going to go down here. So with green, I want to start at 20. So let's go down, let's release it at a 20. Okay, let's go left. Let's release this at a 70. Okay, let's go left, let's release this at a 20. Let's go left one more time. Let's release this at a 70. Okay. Let's go down. Release this at a 20. Okay. Let's go left twice. Release this at a 70, then a 20. Left. Okay. Let's go left one more time. Release this at a 20. Okay. Let's go down. Release this at a 70. Okay. Let's go left. I'm gonna release this at a 10 because of the one condition that we have to apply here. I'm gonna release this at 10. I'm gonna go for 50. We're gonna go up, and we're gonna go at 50. Then we're gonna go up, then we're gonna go left, and then we're gonna be at 90, and then we're gonna exit the maze. Let's go up. Let's be at 50. Okay, and then let's go left at like a really high 99. Just like that is a solid mod. Holy crap! I just did that flawless. So what I did was we started at this position here. We started over here. Then what I did was I ended up going left, 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 down, left, left, down. And then what I wanted to do was I started thinking in my head, okay, we need to make sure that we have a position where the release condition will apply for it being over 90. So that's why I went from 10 to 50 to a 99 or 90, whatever it was. And that's kind of what I needed to do. So I think we actually got lucky. We actually got both a green dot and a green rule, which was quite nice. The green rule is definitely, I'd say, probably the best of the four, I would say. If not, probably a short second of yellow, maybe blue, and then red. I'm not a big fan of red, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, that's the way how this works. It's a very, very tricky mod to do, and in overall experience, there are not many exits that you can take. There's only 2 exits that were possible to get out of the left gate. But yeah, that's what makes this mod a very difficult experience. And it's also important to note that the colors of the edges of the walls also rotate with the maze rotating in this case. Just keep that in mind. So let's take a look at one more example. I definitely want to do one more because I want it to be a little bit tricky. I wanted to actually show this mod off normally. And I actually did, I think successfully. So let's take a look at one final example. I actually was able to shockingly do that in first go. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along with the cells that I was doing. But as you can see, that's what makes this mod very tricky to deal with because of the fact that it's very heavily, it heavily wants you to focus on this mod. So let's take a look for this one. This one definitely might take me a bit longer, but I don't think it's impossible. These ones are really separated and far apart from each other, which must mean that they are on their own. Distance of 3. The very wide gap between these guys. I believe maybe it's going to be here. Yeah, I think that actually is looking like that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Yeah, this looks like this is it, so it makes sense. There's 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I agree. Yep. So this is the maze that we're looking at here. This is the correct orientation set up for us. And I remember that I am using these numbers at the bottom here to help me sort of get an idea of what I can potentially release this condition at. So let's get right into this. Let's figure out where we are in the maze. Let's figure out what our release condition is, and hope, pray to God that we actually don't strike again. So let's do this. So we're going on the blue maze, we're going down, and we've got the yellow case. So we're going to be doing yellow. And we're starting here. So let's go, wait, what?
Oh, I would love to give you that, but I really can't.
I don't think it's able to spawn there. Because you can't get out. Huh. I'm going to try it again because even if you strike, it still keeps it at the exact same position. That's literally an impossible solution. I'm going to report that. So I'm going to give it a log. That's just not possible. Yeah, because you get blue. You need to get out. What? Okay. Never in my years would I ever think that would happen. Bug caught live on recording. So let's just get another example. I'm going to keep this log here because I'm going to actually report this because that's literally an impossible solution. You can't do that.
One perfect solution.
Oh my god, you can't go up because that's out of the maze. You can't go right because it's a wall. You can't go down or because that's gonna lead you nowhere. And you can't go left because that's the edge of the maze. It just doesn't work. Huh. I'll be damned. In the meantime, let's try a new example. Let's see if we can get lucky here. This one looks a little bit more easier to find, but obviously I put myself in very high position to think that. Let's see what we have here that we can do. It's definitely got to be in a spot where a lot of dots are, easily. That's pretty obvious to tell. Where exactly would that be? That is the question. I believe I found it, yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. And it should be right down here. Yes, I agree with this. So this is going to be our position in the maze here. And all right, let's get this thing started. I really don't know what else to say. Let's get it going. So we have red right there, so we're going to be going right. This one shouldn't be too bad. And we're using yellow again. Perfect. So let's go down. Let's start at 30. Down at 30. Go a little bit less. Let's go right at 80. I messed that up badly. My bad. Okay, so I'm currently right here, and since I did strike, that is going to be the exact same position that we should start at. That should be the case. And all previous measurements, I believe, are completely just gotten rid of. It does not care. It does not consider any previous measurements from before. So let's try it again. Okay, so I am indeed right there. Let's go right. Let's do 30 again. I'm going the wrong way. Let's go, just do 30 for right now. Let's go left. I'm being a pro gamer here. Let's go left here. Left at 80. I have to do 60% less now, so I've got to do like a really low 10. Okay, let's do left again. We can do probably like a nice 40. That should work. We want to do it like a left 40. And then we want to kind of do at 30% more or 60% less. We have to do 30% more, but we're going to come into an issue here.
It's usually frustrating, isn't it?
My bad. What I was thinking of in my head was we were at a position here. We were going to be going left to this position. But what was going to be a problem for doing 70 was the fact that I would run into issues where I would need to do sort of like an up down case until something worked out. So that's my bad. I just kind of panicked there. We're right there. Let's now plan this out. We can do a 60 and a 90 here. That would be perfect. Or like a 50 and a 90 actually rather would be perfect. So 50. And then let's just close out with a 90. Not the better of the two examples here.
Not the answer, I'm afraid.
Apparently that's a strike. Oh, I used the wrong... I hate this mod. I was going the wrong way. I literally second-guessed myself with the fluid color. Awesome. Let's go right at 30. I'm keeping this recording. I'm happy with that first attempt. I don't really care. Go right at 80. Okay, let's go right at 20 or 10. Let's just go for 10. Just much safer to do that. Okay. Let's go right at 50. One more right, and then we'll go up. Okay, let's go up at 90, then down at, then up and right at 20.
Not it, I'm afraid.
Didn't click it enough in time because these highlights are stupid. Okay, so I'm currently right here. We're very close to finishing this. We can now plan it out from this position, actually, technically speaking. So let's do... So we need to go right down... So we need to go right down, right up, right. So we need to do 5 movements here. So we can maybe do... Actually, we can probably just do exactly what we have here. 30, 80, 10, 50, 90. Is right at 30. Down at 80. Up at 10. No, wait. Right at 30, down at 80, right at 10, up at 50, right at 90. That should do it. Okay, let's do it again. I'm so sorry about striking this on this many times as I am right now. So let's go right at 30. Let's go down at 80. then up it, then right at 10. So it's going to be a bit fast. Down at 80, right at 10. A bit lower. Okay, then up at 50, then right at 90, and then we'll be done. Right at 90, get this thing over 90% charged. And just like that is a soft mod. I told you I would strike. I told you I would strike, but for very stupid reasons, and I'm very sorry about that. I should not have gone left. I, for some reason, got myself mixed up with the fluid and the gauge. I'm very, very sorry about that. Just act like you didn't see anything and just go off with the first example. As always, thank you guys for watching. It was a pleasure doing all these vanilla swirls. Very tricky mods, but very clever mods nonetheless. So as always, stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.